What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be reviewing Port Adelaide versus Melbourne at the MCG on Saturday night in front of 17,000 people. It was a scrappy affair, definitely not one you'll be watching back anytime soon. But a 2-point victory over the D's for the Power makes it 4 in a row, sitting second on the ladder going into the last couple rounds of the year. It's absolutely enormous, and a win that was gutsy, backs against the wall type of I think motivation there for the way we won the game, and pretty impressed considering the complete turnaround of what was the week before against Sydney. But Port Adelaide got the job done against the D's outfit. They were very aggressive and definitely had their pressure, and their game was strong throughout the Saturday night. So good win in the end. So let's get straight into it and review round 22. To be honest, I could just spend 8 minutes reviewing Jason Horne-Francis' game because he was extraordinary. This bloke was insane, and I'm going to start with him because the man has evolved into a player that is built for the moments, the big moments, and stands up. We saw something come out during the week, an article that was written about how Horne-Francis would love to become, a captain or a big leader of Port Adelaide going into the future. And let me tell you, the performance he put out against the D's was nothing short of a leadership quality performance that was able to stand up in a big moment and continuously make sure that he took and seized the moment every time it came. He had 8 disposals in the last 5 minutes of the last quarter. The game is on the line. You've got Horne-Francis barreling through packs, taking contested marks, making sure he's winning the ground ball, and doing everything possible to be physically present at the contest. His positioning was perfect. Like, he was unbelievable. And it's one of the best games of football I think I've seen him play. And not only that, he just oozes confidence and oozed, I'm going to take this moment and bring everyone else with me. And everyone else did. You look at the second half numbers, and like the likes of Butters, Rosie, all came with him as well and stood up as leaders. I thought Houston down back, Bergman down back was really, really good. My boy Travis Bogue, 29 touches, and he's aging like a fine wine, and he was hitting kicks that you don't see him hit as often anymore, and he was just absolutely pinpointing every target, and it was magnificent to watch. And for him to be playing so well, Boki, give that man a contract. Like, what are you waiting for, Paul? Just put it in front of him. Say you're playing next year, and that's that. I don't care what anyone else says. Put him on a contract for next year, a 1-year deal. Say, this is it. It's happening. The decision's out of your hands, Trav. You're playing next year. So simple as that. See you in 2025. But no, like everyone's, It wasn't the greatest of performances throughout the whole night. Like, it was a pretty subpar performance. The D's pressure was really, really good. We were able to sort of help that, and I think our skill errors at times weren't as great, and going inside 50 wasn't fantastic. We lost Todd Marshall quite early. Narkle had to come on, so the restructure there was a bit different. But I thought the way we were able to just consistently go at it and deal with the pressure and deal with the struggle of the game that we had, and still come out on top. Like, we've had moments this year, we've won really, really close games. The Hawks, the Cats. These games are we're built for the moments like this, and to have these sorts of wins and the grinding nature of the game, it's really, really important. So I think getting that and getting that victory in the way we did, it's complete opposite of last week, but it shows the character that we have. I think as Port fans, we should be really, really proud of that, because we're able to win quite comfortably and be flamboyant and creative like last week against the Swans, and then this week you come out and be in a tight tussle against the D's outfit, whose season was on the line, and they're pretty much done for the year now. So for us to win in a different kind of nature, it shows that we can tick the boxes in every sense to get the job done. And now that we've won 4 in a row, and I think 4 completely different wins as well, really showcases the versatility that we have. And on a good day, you're going to get the best Port Adelaide, and the best Port Adelaide's going to take you to the cleaners. And on even Port Adelaide's worst now at the moment is still good enough to beat the teams that they need to beat. And that's what's most impressive. That's what's really making me start to really believe about this year. It's a little bit different. We're timing our run. Players are playing their roles really, really well, and it's just continually the cycle of being able to win these games, and it's really, really impressive. And I look at this game in particular against the D's. it's away from home. It's at the MCG. I'm taking the fact that it's played at the G. That's where you need to play your big games and win the big games and big moments in finals. And whilst 17 people at the game is not really big finals moments, that pressure is still there and that atmosphere on the ground is still there. And it's just, I'm really impressed with the way we are able to get the job done. Whilst it might not look pretty on the scoreboard, a win's a win. You take the 4 points, you get on the plane, you fly back home, and you sit in second place going into the last couple of rounds of the year. A couple of things from the game that was quite interesting. Firstly was, I really thought the Seagulls were just a massive component of why it was so hard to play at the G. Like, they were everywhere. It is, that, you might not think it, but seeing like 30 or 40 white birds just completely cover a wing, like it detours the way you want to move the footy, and you're just like, oh, is that space actually there? And you start to question it a little bit, and that builds throughout the game. So the mentality of this game was definitely quite defensive throughout the whole time. Both teams had to adjust accordingly, and I think the Seagulls played a perfect role in why part of the game was definitely low scoring. I think even the contested work from both teams was really strong throughout the night. And the other thing as well, I really want to compliment Jordan Sweet. He took that aggressive nature to Max Gawn, who is pretty protected in terms of free kicks and stuff like that. And that's just the presence of Max Gawn. He's going to get favoured in that way, and you got to really grind and make sure you put in that aggressive nature and match Max Gawn throughout the night. And I think Jordan Sweet did a magnificent job, and Charlie Dixon chipped in when he could. So I think the way that was manipulated and done well by Sweetie, I think he's going to be, he's definitely taken that number one ruck role really well, and I don't see, he is for the rest of the year anyway, clearly the number one ruck for Port Adelaide, and I don't see anyone else. Soldo's obviously playing in the SANFL and everything, so I don't see him coming back in for the rest of the year. I did see obviously Todd Marshall got concussed, so it's unfortunate for Todd. Can't get a clean run this year, and hasn't been in the greatest of forms. If I'm honest, you miss a showdown, you're not going to take him to Perth against Freo, because Georgiadis will be back in, who we did miss. I think anyway. I think you might have to put the cue in the rack for Todd for the rest of the year, and sitting there on ice just in case anything happens to a Dixon or even Georgiadis again after that. But I honestly don't see him coming back in, unfortunately, for his sake. But that does leave an open spot for next week. Does Narkle come in, we play an extra small, or do we bring in Ryan Burton, depending on how he goes for the Magpies? That is a big question. Whatever the case may be, it is a 1 week replacement. I think against a Crows outfit who are quite strong and they can be quite versatile, I think we can probably expose them maybe on the floor a bit. With Dixon and Radigalia as their mainstays, like, we look pretty good on the floor and in and around the contest. So as long as defensively we're sound up forward, like I don't see a reason why we can't just have Narkle in there for 1 week and someone else come in as the sub. Just depends on how it all pans out, I guess. But a few question marks going into the showdown next week. But regardless, you take the 4 points. It's a win, massive positive, and we just continue on from there. And sitting in second feels pretty good coming out of the round, which is very important now. Which means we can, over the next 2 weeks, keep winning and lock in a top 4, and lock in a top 2, and get a home final, and everything opens up after that. But it's 1 week at a time. We take it in the showdown. But for now, celebrate the D's win. Let me know in the comments, Port fans, your thoughts on this game. It was obviously, overall, to wrap everything up, it's 4 points. You take it, you come home. Win's a win. And just a good, solid, controlled performance in the end to make sure we got the job done. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But that is my review done and dusted for this week. Another one in the books. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. My name's Anthony, and as always, count the pair.